Hollywood is experiencing some exposure of unprecedented levels at this time, thanks to people calling out celebrities and entertainers with problematic pasts. The Diddy and Cassie lawsuit situation just goes to show that even people we thought were seriously dangerous and virtually untouchable aren't completely above reproach. But if we're going to talk about other celebrities who are violent or have some troubling proclivities, then we have to talk about Drake. If you don't know about Drake's dark past, or even if you do, I'll tell you all about it. And I bet you learned some stuff about him from my research that you didn't know before. And there's a lot to go over, so let's jump right in. First of all, Drake sort of has a reputation for being a good boy in the rap game. People really love that he says things like he started a collection of Birkin bags to give to his future woman, and that he made the song Nice for What, telling women that they should do things to improve their lives without worrying about what men think. He's known for wearing great sweaters and cardigans. Taking time out to talk to his fans or provide them with advice isn't uncommon for him. And he even called out a male concert goer at one of his shows for groping women. But that isn't the whole story. In 2017, word got out that Lacana Morris, aka Lila Lace, was suing the rapper and said that he her in Manchester, England, and got her pregnant. She said in an interview on SiriusXM's Shade 45, "I know who I sleep with unprotected, period. So it's 100% sure. He knows it." Drake sued her back for fraud. He said that the Manchester police did an investigation and cleared him of any wrongdoing. And beyond that, they said there's no credible evidence of pregnancy nor any baby which would have been born last fall. His team also says that during the midst of all of this, Morris tried to come see Drake and booked a flight, but got furious when he wouldn't respond to her and cut all ties with her. So she canceled her flight and then hopped on Instagram to say, "So I guess still in this era, this is the new thing that after you tell a dude you're pregnant, they stop answering their phone." She deleted the post. But even after all that, and Drake's team saying that she was never pregnant, the police investigation cleared him and everything, he still settled with her to the tune of $350,000. And I wish I could tell you that it stopped there, but you know, if I'm making this video, then it doesn't. A video popped up from a show Drake did in Colorado in May 2019, where he called a 17-year-old girl up on stage and was really inappropriate with her, to say the least. He was dancing all up in her, pulling her shirt down and kissing her all over her neck, and making comments about her shampoo. He also stood behind her and reached both his hands across her chest. While he was doing all this, he was saying stuff like, "Why do you look like that? You thick. Look at all this." Now, I know it would make a ton of women's whole lives if Drake said that to them, but let's remember that the girl he said it to was a minor, and he knew it wasn't right too, because he also said he was getting carried away, asked her how old she was, and when she told him, he said, "I can't go to jail yet, man." He also said, "I don't know if I should feel guilty or not, but I had fun. I like the way your breasts feel against my chest." There's a definite creep factor here for me, because he was about 23 when he was all talking about how he liked feeling this 17-year-old's breast. Back in 2014, a stripper named Joni Blaze said that she and Drake had, and then he freaked out and thought she'd tell the media about their interaction. She said he sent her a slew of angry texts and that he even sent some of his people over to her house to bang on her door. They made threats on her life too. I'm not sure why anyone would have with someone and then harass them that way. I mean, once other people find out about it, it's gotta drastically reduce your chances of hooking up with other people in the future, right? But to each their own, I guess. Anyway, Joni said she wasn't sure she wanted to go through with pressing charges against him, but the Houston Police Department started an investigation against him anyway. Right when he was under investigation for the Joni incident, model Shay G says that when she posted pictures of some expensive purses he'd bought for her as gifts, Drake started sending threatening texts to her. One message in particular made the threat that if the rapper saw her out somewhere, she's getting run up out of there. Obviously feeling uneasy about the rapper's threats, she told her dad and he told Drake to back off. Then she told cops in Arizona, and they started an investigation too. TMZ thinks that the reason he went off on Shay for the pics is because he was catching heat for the incident with Joni and didn't want the extra attention. And that wasn't the only time that Drake was allegedly threatening or violent with someone. In 2014, he allegedly got his bodyguards to beat up a producer named Detail. Detail said that Drake offered him a deal to exclusively work for Drake, which Detail shot down so he would work with a number of different artists, which was honestly smart of him. Drake didn't like that, and Detail said that a couple of months later, Drake invited him to a meeting at his house, and when he got there, Drake's bodyguard Chubbs greeted him at the door by sucker punching him and breaking his jaw. While Chubbs was beating him, Detail says the bodyguard screamed, "I will beat all your ass, including your bitches. I don't give a f. I'll hit you again. Do you think Drake is soft? Do you think Drake's a punk?" Detail not only had a broken jaw, but several other injuries and had to have surgery after the incident. TMZ said that Detail says he was so badly hurt he couldn't work for a year. He asked Drake repeatedly and in vain to cover his medical expenses. When Drake refused, he sued. That makes perfect sense to me. I'd sue too, honestly. In 2018, he started dating an 18-year-old model named Bella B. Harris. He was 31 at the time, so it was a 13-year age difference. And while an age difference isn't always something to look sideways at, it really seems like the two might have started dating when she was more like 16. They met during his Summer 16 tour in 2016 when she was 16 years old. There's nothing that says that they did start dating back then, but there's not anything that says they didn't either, which is creepy. You'd think that they'd come out and say something like they were just friends and hadn't been dating that long if nothing was going on. It's giving groomer vibes for me. And it's not just me. Rihanna was less than amused by him dating an 18-year-old too. How are you gonna hook up with an 18-year-old when you know your ex knows the kid's dad? And honestly, I wouldn't want to play with that kind of fire with Riri because she's got a mouth and doesn't mind getting messy, so that honestly could have gotten really nasty. And she was well within her rights to feel some type of way about this. I mean, Drake went from dating Queen Riri to dating someone essentially half her age. That was obviously a ploy to try to make her jealous, and I don't know, Rihanna just isn't the one to mess with like that. And then there was that whole weirdness with Stranger Things Millie Bobby Brown. They met when she was around 13 back in 2017, backstage at one of his concerts. They were both into each other's work and enjoyed talking about it with each other. Then they got on Instagram and absolutely gushed about the interaction. 12 months later, Millie said this about Drake during an interview with Access Hollywood. "I love him. He's a great friend and a great role model. We just texted each other the other day and he was like, 'I miss you so much.' And I was like, 'I miss you more. He's great.'" That totally sounds like texts between two infatuated teenagers, but they were in fact between a 31-year-old Drake and a 14-year-old Millie. It also sounds like child grooming, which the International Center for Missing and Exploited Children defines as when an adult communicates online with a child under the age of 18 in order to establish an emotional connection or relationship with a child and gain their trust for the purposes of sexual abuse or exploitation. Of course, we don't know if Drake and Millie Bobby Brown did the deed once she came of age, but everything about that situation seems suspicious when you take into consideration that Drake has had some incidents with minors and dates women half his age. You know the internet is talking about this situation, and here's what they're saying. Real talk, Drake has always been problematic, so not surprised by all of this. Let his hands tell it, he's damn near a choir boy. Don't forget his many questionable associations. His penchant for hookers, even having a child by one. How fucking dreadful. The relationship he has with sex seems very much that of a sexual deviant. I didn't realize Drake was this creepy and had this many allegations against him. Now I want to hear from you. Did you know Drake was this problematic? Are you still a Drake stan? Tell me in the comments and I'll see you in the next video.